breaking contract for him.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't bidding for that. Yeah, no, I did my own one bid last season and I kind of regretted it. 7 million, a lot for a player, man.
Yeah,
For one player.
that's
So,
why I usually only spend four.
yeah, well, I went a little higher on defense. That's why Chicago's still here at 5.6. You know, it is what it is. I can get scores. Defense is harder.
Yeah,
But, you know, that's why Yucko got 7.5, you know? Defense.
yeah, he's a known name. New GMs that want a strong D are gonna bid on him.
Just know the mute button is okay. Just say it's okay, Yucko. I had to have some fun because I did get to play some club games with him. So
Yep.
I was actually the quiet one in the group, which included Castro and Yucko, which usually doesn't happen for me. But yeah, why don't we dive right into these teams, man? You want to go straight out from this top and go recap each team? Or do you want to talk about the draft?
We'll go straight from the first team here. Start with Anaheim.
All right.
They,
Yeah.
they drafted Extendo 28 and Llama Pen.
Yeah, Llama Pen I'm not 100% sure on. I know Extendo was talked about a lot last season in a potential deal. So I know that name came up quite a bit. So him going to Anaheim, that should be fun with Chi-Town, man.
Yeah, it sounds like
I mean,
Extendo has some personality issues, and but he seems like a very solid player.
yeah. Well, I've never actually get to play with him. Sorry, I was looking at the GM chat. I've never actually got to play with him. I just went off of what other people have told me. I know a few owners that wanted him
Yep.
last season, but apparently he got to go to Anaheim. Lucky Anaheim.
Yeah, and then Llama Pen last season had 28 games played at defense, and got a plus 17 and about .9 points per game.
Really?
Yep. That was for the
That's
Iowa
pretty
Wild, and then 6 games for the Nashville Predators.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Iowa Wild before the Predators for last season. No offense to the Predators of last season, but I mean, it was like a glorified AHL team. I mean, I'm sorry, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I would probably look at his Iowa Wild numbers over looking at the Nashville Predators. And it seemed like he did play a little bit of goalie for both of them last year too.
Yep.
So maybe, it's a little versatility.
Chaz got Celtics titled as new captain and 724 sniper returning, and they put Illy Philly on an ELC.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't. I know self-titled is talked a lot in the chat, but that's about it. That's all I know about that whole
It's
team.
completely new to me, but he did do the drafting for him.
Hey,
So,
well, I
he's
don't
gotta
know if
know some
Chi-Town was
people and know what's
functional to
going on.
talk about his draft. And well, you got to also remember Chi-Town's been in the NHL longer.
Yeah.
Self-titled's kind of coming up through, so he would know these guys coming out in the draft. Some of the veterans sometimes have a little trouble with the draft, just I feel, because if there's no one they really know, they have to actually ask for help.
Yeah, we
on
know
scouting
that
reports.
we know a 724 sniper is a proven forward here.
Yeah.
But some stats on Illy Philly. He played 47 games last season with 2.55 points per game and 49 plus minus.
All right.
So, it's pretty solid. We'll see how he comes up to the NHL level. Plays that
Okay, I
left
mean-
wing spot for Anaheim.
It's NHL is definitely a little different. The defense is definitely a step up than what it was in the AHL. That skate down the side and force to the middle. Good luck with that. If that's your game plan in the AHL, it'll work, but not up here.
They've got 16 million in cap and a pretty good base. They should be able to build a solid team this season.
All right, they only need 4 more players to round out their 10, and they got plenty of cap. They can make a nice splash. They can go for some depth too.
Yep.
No.
So let's move on to Arizona now, who had 3 picks in the top 10 in this draft.
Which is crazy. I mean, they earned them,
Yeah.
but now. I mean, it left them in an okay spot. I mean, they do have 7 people with some cap room. They have a little more cap than I do, and I mean, at 14.2, which is good. They got 7 players. I know they're returning think it was Evan was on their team, and then they have 3 draft picks, like you were saying. They had Jords, Flaw 20, and Bidu, the number 1 pick,
Yep.
Bidu,
For those
which
of you
I
that
thought was
don't
a
know,
shock.
Bidu played 28 games last season in the AHL for the Ontario Reign, and he had 3.46 points per game and a plus minus of plus 54.
Yep. I see that would have been one of those. I would have had to have gone to that any captain, and say, how did he play? Was he a good teammate? Stats are good, but sometimes they don't fit.
Yep.
But yeah, if you see stats like that, you definitely have to ask. That's definitely sounds like a good pick. Hopefully in Arizona he'll thrive. I know because Bauer's going to be playing some defense. You'll have Crazy J also.
Mm-hmm.
So
Jay's a solid center. Seems like he moved his position to right D this year.
yeah, so I mean they have a potential to go farther than they did last season, as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the preseason outlook last I'm better today than it was the season ago.
I'm not so sure on Flaw 20. He had some all right stats, but for that high of a pick, I think there was a lot of better D-men out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, defense, like you said, defense is tough out there. I've never really played with him, so I mean, he wasn't even on my radar
last season.
Yeah, he wasn't even a person that was even on my radar. Yeah. So it's tough to comment on them. No offense to those guys, but when you don't know him, you don't know him.
We'll have to see what he does.
Exactly.
George, or as I pronounce it, Joy Rides, just because why the fuck not?
Out. Yeah, it's. I guess the joy with the why was taken.
Played 52 games last season, 2.42 points per game, and a negative 20.
Ooh, who did he play for?
I don't even know.
Let's take a quick look.
I don't know all these AHL logos anymore.
That would be, I believe, the Springfield Falcons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the Falcons of the season before. That would have been horrendous. But yeah, I mean, those stats are all right. It's the plus minus, so that maybe means that they just didn't have defense.
Minutes.
Yeah, but in 52 games. I mean, yeah, that's a little bit much.
It's high.
But he's playing center, so he's probably helping out with defense. Probably got some high sticking calls, just like everybody got last year.
So,
yeah, no, I agree. I don't like penalty minutes. That would be one thing I was telling people, stop hitting the X button. It's called the penalty button here on the Boston Bruins.
So yeah, they got $14.25 million in cap left. So
yep. They, like I said, they can go for only need 3 people. They can go for a splash and some depth too.
Yeah, they don't have a goalie on the roster yet, so they'll need to spend some there.
Yeah, well,
and I think they're gonna need a big name forward to help carry them. But I don't think they'll finish last this year.
No, I mean I don't see them making the playoffs. Unfortunately, at this point, we'll see what they do in bidding. But as of right now, I don't think it's a playoff team. But I don't think it's a basement team.
Next we got Boston. We can probably just skip these guys.
Yeah, these guys aren't really going to be relevant, apparently.
Trash.
Just like they were last year. But yeah.
It'll be the beginning of last year's season for all season.
Yeah, okay. Except now I have the people that are actually playing really good.
Changing his position to left wing.
No, I was always left wing, lefty last year. I changed it to actually left wing goalie because I might be playing some goalie also. I've been having some fun with it during club. And when I got the defense that I have, I mean, it really doesn't take much for me.
You got Rarmer in there at captain.
Mm-hmm. And his salary actually went down, which was awesome, by the way. Thank you.
And sweet home, Chicago. Returning at right D.
Yep, he's veteran. He's really good, too. He's there for the grind. He plays really well defensively with Harmer. I am even returning my goalie Eddie from last season and my midseason captain Beatty even though it says right wing lefty, he's going to be playing center for us just like last year. Defensive center is a must. So, and he's really good even with the puck in the auto zone. So, kept him back and drafted New York Sports, who I had in the AHL the season ago in season 10, I believe.
Yeah.
And just some familiarity, looking for some depth there. I know he can't play every game anyway, even though he wasn't going to. So it's a good fit for both of us. I feel he might be able to thrive. He did some really good stuff last season. I think he was at with 3 points a game, I believe, in the AHL. I didn't even actually look at his stats because I knew him. He was over 4 points a game with me, but with Hartford last season he was 3, and I just disregard the stats with New York.
Boston driving that guy with New York in his name.
Yeah, well, hey, yeah, I've had Habs fans, I've had fans from everywhere, man. It is what it is. Once you get here, it's all about the guys that are here. Everybody here liked to play with each other. That's why they all wanted to resign. Hummer wanted to be captain. We had a good thing going.
I do think you're going to need to drop some money on a big name forward again, though.
Well, like I said, I have 5 of my returning 6 starters from last season. It's my top line. And I've got almost $12 million, and I only need 4 people. So there are definitely some names out there that I have interest in. Obviously, I'm not going to say who, but I've tried some people out. And in terms of my division, I feel with my cap space being a little higher than some of my tougher divisional opponents, I might be able to steal one from one of them in the bidding, hopefully. Because I'm sure, because Carmel and Roy and Buffalo, obviously, they know offense. So I'm going to have to, battle them for that.
Yeah.
And I don't see Toronto really needing it because we'll talk about them later, but they should be fine.
You did claim you're going to win the cup this year.
Yep, and the division.
That was live.
Yep. Well, someone's going to have balls and say that they're going to do it. I mean, come on. I'm going to say it right now. Carmel came on because he's a veteran and he knows he's got Woy, and that's going to be a really solid team too. But we got to move on because we don't want to spend too long doing
Buffalo.
Yeah, so we'll go to divisional opponent. I love these guys.
Yan's returning as captain. They got Jeff there. Jeff and Yan together.
Yep. Oh yeah, and Jeff, that was one of those deals during the draft. That was, I don't know. Hopefully he can play some games for them though. That's the whole thing. To take up 7.5.
Jeff and Yan get together though, that's gonna be a pretty killer forward combo.
But if Jeff can only play 2 games a week,
from what I hear, Jeff isn't what he used to be, but still good nonetheless.
See, what it does is, because of how good Jan and X actually can be with their salaries and Jeff, it really handcuffs them in terms of getting their last 4 players. So yeah, he may be good for say 4 games a week. We'll maybe give him a high side of 4. Who are you gonna plug in behind him that's gonna be any good? That's up to Jeff's level. And with only 4.6 million, you figure at least another 2 million minimum it would cost. So that would only leave him with 2.6 to fill out their roster. So they'd only be able to go a little higher on someone to play those other games.
Yeah, they got about everything else they need though already. Got Flight Airline and Net. Recky's a solid utility. Played with him multiple times. Yep. Sales I had 2 seasons ago, and he can play right D. Very solid. Put up some points at right D.
But he was on that team last season.
Yeah.
And so was Recky. And the same thing is going to be said about them that was said about last season that will be this season. Their Achilles heel last season was defense. Their Achilles heel right now, looking at this roster, defense. Sales is more offensive minded than defensive, even at defense, so that's going to hurt them. So they're going to have to outscore people, where if they run up against a team that's really good defensively, it could hurt them, because that team that's really good defensively, if they can just put up a few goals, it's going to be tough for them. But I think they can definitely put up goals.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's going to be tough for them. Hopefully they steal some cheap depth in the bidding. That's what they're going to need. And hopefully they can get some defenseman depth.
So next we'll move on to Calgary.
And it's okay if you want to talk about their rosters too. You don't have to let me.
Oh no, I was just
on and on.
I was distracted doing some other stuff.
No, that's fine. I don't mind talking, but I mean, with Calgary, unfortunately, there's really not going to be much to say. I mean,
yeah,
they have no one on their roster.
And Knights, their roster is reset. Knights was my captain last year. Solid lefty.
And I thought he was going to be
over
on
from Arizona.
That team. But, yeah, this is going to be one of those teams that I know Krilla didn't want to have it this season or wasn't offered, and so we got a new one They had some roster issues too, so probably resetting was their best choice. But now going into bidding, they're really going to have to build the team because a lot of teams have head starts on them and have a good core already.
Yeah. So got 25 million cap. Got the
Yeah,
lefty down. Although I think Knight's gonna have limited availability this season, which is why he wasn't my captain.
sure.
And
And you
then
got a forward with Snag, yeah.
yeah, Nagy plays a lot of center.
Oh,
So
there you
he
go.
can play
So
whatever.
hopefully get the wings
So then we can move on to Carolina next.
on to Carolina. And this is going to be a team in this division that I would not put away.
Yeah, Pat Dean
Pat
is one of the
Dean.
top goalies coming back.
I know I flirted with the idea. I didn't know he was going to get ownership. I was flirting with the idea of getting him to be my captain because he was such a good goalie.
Yeah.
Because, goalies are crazy good, but he got a little shortchanged, 5.5 million for his salary for a goalie. That's pretty much the max I think any goalie is worth.
He's a great guy too, though.
Oh,
He got
100%.
Alex Drummond as captain, salary
Yep.
of 4 mil. Ice AJ is their one draft pick, late rounder.
Yep, defenseman, I believe. I think I used to play
Yep.
with him a little bit. Way, way, way back.
You got Semple being re-signed, 5.625.
Yep, and traded from LA to
Yep.
Carolina. Yep, and then they also picked up, or I think because he was actually Washington's roster, they re-signed Zylo themselves.
Yeah. And Zelo is a solid D-man I've seen. So
I thought he was always a winger. See, I
I've
remember
seen him
back
play
in
D.
New York.
And
So, all right, yeah, that should be interesting. I want to see how the good guy and the owner deals with some of the potential problems in terms of attitudes. Because
yeah,
I know, unfortunately, if they struggle a little bit, that team might have some internal issues.
I think Eric can handle him pretty well.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's a good dude. I just hope
Yeah.
he doesn't let people walk on him. That's the whole thing. Because he is a really good guy.
So
And this would be an early pick from them.
next, I believe we're on to our first true rookie owner, not a returning captain or anything. Dom Squad 100, who's the leading point scorer in the AHL last season.
Yep. Coming up, taking over the Chicago Blackhawks.
He's got Allen's Canucks coming up with him.
Mm-hmm.
They got pretty much a full team already, 9 people, and they got 11.375 to spend after that. So they got.
We always have to refresh these pages.
Yeah,
Refresh.
you just need a better computer.
Dude, it's okay. Clear the cache. What are we told? Clear cache all the time. that is the slogan. That's gonna be the VG slogan. Clear cache.
Mine's taking no time.
Yeah, see, I don't know why mine is. Oh well. All right, no, it's good. I refresh it. It's just sometimes they don't pop up. Yeah, they drafted actually 2 of my AHL
They
players.
drafted OG Potsy, who was a solid D man, and then Matt Double 2, who I haven't seen but listed as a right D. You want to give some more talk on him?
Well, luckily for me, last season I didn't really have to deal with my AHL team too much because Matt did a good job, but not that Matt. But yeah, no, I know Potsy's a solid lefty. If he was able to play some 2-way D, like right and left, he probably would have been ELC'd by me. But plays the same position as my captain, so that would make no sense. But yeah, he's really solid. I've played with him. So is Matt Double. Matt Double was really highly talked about from Matt, my AHL captain. So yeah, they both got some skill. I know Matt OG will probably be more of a impact on defense than Matt will be.
Yeah, they got Alonzi returning on a re-sign.
For 1.1 million for goalie, that's
solid
awesome.
Goaltender.
Mm-hmm.
I've had him before, and he's a solid player.
Yep.
Dime Shredder, T Mills, and Explicit all on ELCs. Dime at right D, Explicit at left D, and T Mills right wing, left wing.
Yeah, they're gonna definitely build up their defense to start.
Yeah.
And have a good goalie. So I mean, they're really probably not going to be looking for too much in the defense department. So they're probably going to be going after a forward and a backup goalie, maybe.
They got Insane Hellfire on the second year of the contract, so they need maybe they got to sign one more player, but they got 11.375. So I
Right.
feel like they're gonna make a splash on a big right wing to match up with Dom and Allen to start, and then just
And
sign a backup goalie and maybe run an 11 size roster.
well, and what's really good is who these guys, even though, they came up through the ranks, so they might not even go after some VG vets that should be going a little higher, but they'll be going after some of the more recent AHL stars, like maybe a Brook Boy or Armstrong that have recently come up through the AHL, which will be good because some of these VG vets we want to go cheaper. Come on, guys. It's okay to let them go for 500 grand.
Yep. So next we'll move on to Colorado.
Yes, sir.
And
Where Pat Dean actually left.
yep, we got Hardick returning, Carlson coming in.
Yep, getting out of Ottawa. And they got, what was it, right? Run Like Hell from Chicago, I believe.
No,
in a
she's
deal.
from Colorado still. Been there 3 seasons now.
Why do I feel like that was... Oh, I might be thinking of Hella Elite for some reason, just because
Or
the
Insane Hellfire.
Yes, I don't know. It's just weird.
Carlson
But yeah,
moving
no.
from a long-time captain spot in Ottawa, moving over to Colorado now. He
Yeah,
play left wing, left D, center. He can play wherever you need him to, and he'll always be solid.
I believe he played a little bit more offense last season towards the end, I believe, if
Yep.
I'm not mistaken.
think
Because I
he
remember
usually does
doing
play
Player of the
offense most
Weeks.
time.
Yeah, and he was doing really well. I feel like I think he was putting up like 4 points a game or something near the end of the season. So, I mean, if he can play well in there, I know Hardick's going to be playing some defense.
Yep.
From there, I know they just got to they just got to figure out how they're going to replace Pat, who is going to be that goalie.
Yeah, 17
Pat
mil,
was
maybe a little bit low on cap for 7 players.
right, and they only have 3 guys. Yeah, like you're saying, they only have 3 guys each, 5.5, and 5.5.
Yep.
It's going to be tough.
Okay, next we're moving on to Captain Clutch, who was my AHL captain last season. Got his own team. Fat Man's returning as captain. Clutch is a solid goalie. Fat Man can stick it in there at right D.
Yeah, this is another one of those teams that didn't have a draft pick. Didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they reset
Reset
maybe
the roster. And
because it was there was nothing there
yeah,
from last season. So this is basically a whole reclamation project. They're gonna start from day one, and hopefully in bidding they do well. I mean, they really have only they can only go higher from what they were last
yeah,
season.
it'll definitely be a growing season. So we'll see how it
All right.
goes for him. Not too much to talk about there. Next, we'll move on to Dallas. Got head case with his new captain, Broadway CJ.
Yep.
Check out CJ's BJ's shows Tuesday nights.
Oh jeez. I'm glad you had to say it, not me.
I told him that's going to be the name of it.
Oh, all right. I
Doesn't
don't know
have
why
a
I would have
choice here.
thought someone else came up with it beside you. That sounds like
they drafted Giggy Gidgs, who he says is a solid right D.
No.
We got Jason
Considering-
and T. Gill returning. Jason can fill in.
No. And then you got Tego. But I mean, the weird thing to me is I'm looking at the 2 guys at the top. So what are they going to be splitting time at goalie too, or
Well, Headcase was saying that he wanted to play a left wing and left D, mainly left D. I think it was for 6 a week, and then just one night in net, and Broadway will play D that one night.
all right?
That's what they were
It's
talking about.
just so weird seeing some of that because I know a lot of people. I don't think they're really changing their positions to what they actually want to play because everybody just knows. Yeah, you're gonna just play this position anyway. So it's kind of I don't even go by off of that anymore.
Yeah, it depends.
No, I know my team's done it.
Next,
My starting center's there, and I don't have a center.
Next, we're moving back to the East now.
Of course.
Detroit.
Best
Got
division.
Fleury returning. Amazing's coming in as his captain.
Mesmerize out.
He's got Gurns in net. He's E.L.
No.
Singh, T. Golding. I don't know who he is. Let's check out his stats here.
You see, I've never heard of that guy.
He's got Kyle J.
Bullshit.
returning, the former DC head after a couple years off.
Really?
T. Golding, 16 games played. 2.38 point per game, and plus minus a plus 28.
And that looks like it was for the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Yep. Just ELCing them.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the Griffins were one of the top teams last year in the AHL.
Yep.
So I don't know of how much of that would have been them in the front or the defense, because I don't know the AHL, unfortunately, well enough to comment on them.
We'll get someone on here for the future podcast after bidding.
Might be a good idea.
We don't need to worry about it.
Sorry, guys.
We'll move on to everybody's favorite team, Edmonton.
Yeah.
Here. You got Jason returning as owner. You want to be me. Rise of the Ninja coming in at captain and left wing. We all know he's a solid player, always has been.
Oh, yeah.
Actually came up with me in season 8.
Yeah, I was actually taking a look at him until I found out he was a captain. I was like, maybe I don't have to play so much this year. I can pull a Copley.
Yeah.
But no.
Hey, I had to play a whole 10 games last season. It was ridiculous.
Hey, that's actually benefit to your team. So, you stay at home, I believe, got re-signed. And second year, Mr. MVP serving out the second year of a 2-year contract. But they also did get to draft, like you said, Dirty Deeds, 12-12 at goalie. So they kind of picked one up there. Because you got to figure, with Rise, you already got a solid forward.
And then they got Toffoli, too, who's
yep.
a very solid center man who I've played quite a few games with competitively.
Put him with Rise, that could be dangerous.
Yep.
They got 4 players left to get, almost $13 million in cap space. They can still add a big name for that other spot on that line probably, and then add some depth to it too, considering they got what looks like to be their starting goalie.
And then we got Florida coming up, who is Jaleel, who I believe won the Calder last year.
Oh, yay. Except now he's still starting off with one player that he brought up from Florida's team last season.
And probably reset roster with a new owner and everything.
Well, if he reset roster, it resets the ELC roster also, I believe.
Don't know.
So I don't think he might have. But yeah, no, I mean, the good thing with them, if he won the Calder Cup, how his salary is only $4 million, that's a little shocking considering some of the other guys that came up were a little higher.
It's probably like me and doesn't play at all. Let's check it out. He played 29 games last season, all in net, and then 3 games skating. He had a .765 save percentage and a 3.08 GAA.
So it was pulling a little bit to a lesser extent, but yeah, he almost pulled the Copley. That's why. Okay, now I can see it. Because I bet you someone like Dom Squad probably played every game.
Yep.
Not putting down Dom, but
Dom Squad
forward,
led the league in scoring.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you're gonna play pretty much every game. So yeah, I can see that would be a little bit to win the Calder. I figure you got to give him some managerial bump, in salary. That's why I figured mine was
the 3.5.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to LA. His next rookie owner. We got Ty 281 in the Sophist. Lefty left wing for Ty and Sophist right wing center. They got Bubba B. Drunk out of the draft, who seemed to be a solid right D when I looked up his stats for $500K. You got Nemo on an ELC and no chance on an ELC in net. You got 19.5 mil to spend for 5 guys.
Oh yeah.
So that's about $4 million in average.
Yeah. Almost $4 million per.
Yep.
So yeah, but I mean, with the 2 of these guys that they ELC'd were actually on my radar in terms of potential draft picks until I saw them ELC'd. I know Nemo, for some reason, it just keeps coming back that I don't know, whenever he's been in the AHL, I've always asked to see what I can get him for. Just never works out, but it's just because of numbers. I've actually never met the guy. But I've played with no chance a little in net, and he's solid if you can have some good defense in front of him. Yeah. Just like every goalie, but he can take away the shot, make the defense play defense, and he won't move when you think he's going to move is the key. So that was a good ELC for them.
Yeah, it was.
2.5 million for both of them, but I mean they could have maybe got them a little cheaper in terms of bidding because I don't know if too many people know about them, but the rookie owners coming in would have, and that's what they were struggling against.
Yeah, you never know. There's not too many free agents this season as I was looking through them.
See, that's why you got to have a core.
They wanted to make sure that they got him, I think.
Yep. No, and that's exactly
Yep.
what you do. If you have someone that you really want, you got to get them no matter what the number is. That's if you really want to keep the person, spend a little extra. That's what you do to guarantee that he's on your roster.
And moving back to the Central Division here with Minnesota.
Yeah.
Got Boss Ross returning as owner. Dynasty's his captain, who I believe was his mid-season captain last season.
After the Bengals got the boot.
Yep. They drafted Howard, who looked like a solid
Defenseman.
D-man by his stats. Got Murloc Death returning a net and J-Town returning a net through a trade.
Yeah, so I guess they won't really have to worry too much about the goalie position,
Tandem goal duo.
right? And you've already got, Boss Ross for D, Dynasty for D, and Howard for D, so pretty much it seems like they're going to be loading up at the forward position, and that's where they're going to have to go. And with 22.7 million, they can pretty much get the forward they want.
Yeah, I mean,
And forwards they want.
that's about $4.5 million, just over $4.5 million per player they get to spend. So
Right. And they still will need they'll need a couple of depth players, obviously, but yeah.
they'll need focus on forward here. I think they got D and goalie set up. 5 players, probably 5
Even if
forwards.
you get 3, yeah, exactly, but you'll have to spread it out evenly. It'll be whether maybe 1 or 2 big splashes with the rest of the depth, or just kind of spread it out evenly and just go for more
To be
above
fair,
above
if they find a
average.
G-man they like, they can get Boss Ross and Dynasty both play forward as well.
Yeah, but you always want to go where you're most comfortable.
Yeah, we got Chi-Town saying that Murloc will left wing if Dynasty is at center. So
Oh, there you go.
see how that works out.
Hey,
Move on.
what
to
is that on the
Habs
Twitch
now.
chat?
Yeah,
All right. I wasn't
missing
looking
out
at
here.
that. Hey, it is what it is. I let that for you since
You
you're
need
running
3 monitors.
Yeah, okay. I got my laptop. We're lucky I got that out right now. Should have done it on my phone.
So we got J Seb coming in as owner of Montreal this season. Hopefully he can turn Montreal's dreaded history around in this
Nope.
league.
Habs suck. That's my stance on it. If you ever ask me whether it's real NHL or any league, Habs suck.
Stench of Decay is coming in at right D as the captain.
Yep.
Got Force of Legend coming in at net on a 2.5 mil ELC. And Gore 71 at second year of his contract. 500K left wing, right wing.
Yeah, I mean, JC is probably going to be playing maybe a little more left wing than left D,
Yeah.
because I believe he put up more points. And then maybe even Stench, you put him on the opposite side at right D, Forrest and net. And then I don't know if Gore was on that team and they just kind of kept him or what.
That would be my guess.
So I mean, I don't know if that's something that they were really interested in, but he's a 500K player, so it is what it is. You kind of keep that. But yeah, I mean, they basically got to get 6 guys with 22 million. I mean, they've got some cap room. Just hopefully they build their team the right way. They're just starting off again in a fresh area.
Yeah.
But the division's going to be tough, so hopefully
not
they
too
can
much
build
to talk
something.
about here. It's gonna be a
Oh.
tough climb up the hill.
Oh yeah, especially from last.
Try
Well,
time
they
to
were.
saying hashtag dicks out for K Crusher.
You
So,
talking about Chi-Town Menace? Because every
Yeah.
time you say that, I keep thinking about it's the Chicago on my team.
No, it's
Sorry.
always Chi-Town.
Yeah. Usually I'd hear him no matter what, even if he's typing.
You got Will Roll Tide coming in as owner of Nashville this season. He's got some experience leading some AHL teams pretty well.
Good defensive centerman.
Yep. So got B37 Will coming in as his captain at right D, and Jay Snipe on their draft contract
Yep.
playing left wing.
Yeah, this is another team that's basically starting from day one again.
Yep.
They got a ton of cap space to get their team rolling. Will, like you said, has run an AHL team, I think, 2 seasons in a row now.
No,
Yeah.
last year he was in the NHL, but the year
he
before
was?
he ran an AHL team.
Yes, he had. Never really played. I don't remember playing him,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I believe he
That's
was
what
on
happens when you smoke
Pittsburgh
too
for a
much.
while. And
Oh, that's right, with PNC. Yep,
Yep.
that's right. I think he was the captain
I think
at
he
the
may
end
have
of the
been a
season,
late season captain
right? When Karma something.
when yeah,
Yeah, to
Karma
get
had some personal issues at home.
right.
We won't discuss here.
Yeah, I don't even know, so don't. All I know is
Yep.
it was personal. So hopefully everything's working out well with him.
Yep.
Uh,
So
this this
I think
next
they
team
got
is
three
going to be
solid
interesting.
starters there, but they'll have to add some more with that 24 million in cap.
I mean, it's a day one team. Good luck, Will. You got all the cap in the world to build your team.
Now we can move on to Joyzy with
Yeah,
Bud's
this is
team.
the guy who actually got his nickname changed in the Skype chat to Pain in Ass. Sorry, that's for my
Buds
personal
and
one.
Bucks.
Which I don't understand how Bucks is back in management, but
Bucks should be
I
able
mean
to keep the personalities of the team down. Bucks is pretty good at that.
he is a personality in the team. So is Buds. What are you talking about?
He's
The
pretty
two
good at
most
keeping them down,
dynamic
though.
personalities of this team are in the management staff. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we know Buds, it's Buds, and we know Bucks, it's Bucks. You know, I've played with them both.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what Bud says in the chat all day long, and I've played with Bucks. This is going to be interesting. I'm wondering at one point. Well, I know Bucks can't fire Buds, but this is going to be an interesting dynamic throughout that season in New Jersey. I mean, it is New Jersey, but and the team is the Devils. But this is going to be interesting. I can't wait. I would love to be in those team chats. By the way,
Got Mollet 29 and Maxime QC coming out of the draft.
no.
Goalie and lefty there.
Well, yeah. I mean, you figure you only have a center and a D guy
Yep.
with Buck. So if we
Sick
get that second
Chewbacca
goalie,
and ELC coming back to the NHL level there. After
yeah,
a couple years back in the AHL.
freshen them skills up.
Got sheer luck at right D as well.
And Dirty
Returning.
Glove.
And then Dirty Glove at left wing, who's a solid, 500, solid guy for 500K.
Yep.
Put it that way.
Yeah, and I mean they've got 7 guys with 17.5 left. I mean, they can definitely make some splashes in the free
Yeah,
agency.
it's about just about 6 million per player.
Yeah, so I mean they can make moves. It's just going to be what moves and how long will those people that they pay money for want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the key there.
Let's move on to the Islanders here.
New York. I love talking about New York teams.
They got Chaos Rider and Tickle My Sakic switching captaincies over to the Islanders here. That's about
Wasn't
it.
Chaos a captain last year in
They were
Dallas?
both captains. Chaos was Dallas's, and Tickle
And
was
Tickle,
Winnipeg's.
yep.
Both moving out of my division.
And so they wanted to just join up together, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, they have nothing. They get to build their team from the bidding.
I'm happy to see Tickle back in the GM's chat so he can go off on me a little bit more for not playing.
Yeah, I was more interested in when he went off on Yucko. So that was more interesting to me. Everybody goes off on you. Everybody knows that you don't want to play. It makes
Oh,
your team better.
yeah,
Don't worry.
but-
We'll talk about the Blues in a little bit. I can't wait for that one. So, but yeah, no, these two go in here. I mean, Tickle's a solid forward, and so is Chaos. So there's basically, there's nothing else to say besides good luck in
I got
bidding.
a quote from Chi-Town to say quick. When Buds ran my AHL, his guys were asking me for trades 24/7. I don't know how they won Calder.
Well, again, we'll see those. They have to target the right people in New Jersey because if they don't, then it's going to be tough sledding for that team.
Yep. Hey, Buds is proven at pulling some bullshit together to win.
Yeah, except for last season when they didn't make
Yep.
the playoffs. But it is what it is, man. It's a new season. We'll see how they do this year.
Move on to your other favorite team, the New York
New York
Rangers.
Well, I have no problem with this team now. I mean, they got new ownership. I mean, it is what it is. They did get to keep 2 goalies, which was $7.5 million for
Yeah.
the goalie position, man. That's just rough. I just don't get it. I mean, KQ is really good.
Busta
But
and Carter got to have a lot of faith in themselves to carry their positions to spend that much money in goalie.
right. I mean, KQ is worth money. She's good. Carver, he's a solid player, but it's just 7.5.
Yeah.
That's the number. Like, no goalies, even two goalies, I would say, unless you're getting two top flight goalies, like maybe even KQ and I don't know, Flight Airline or just someone else that has a higher salary. But I don't know. This just doesn't make sense because both of these could start 8 games a week. So it just, I don't know. I don't see how that, unless they're going to have some trade value, which they have two goalies.
Or limited
you can figure out.
availability. Or
Yeah. Well, I know Carbor. I think he plays with a couple of my buddies. So I think his availability is fine.
I think
And
KQ said she had great availability this year. So
right. So I don't know. That was surprising to me when I saw that. But I mean, they're two solid players. So, I mean, when you get a chance to keep a solid player, you keep them. And it has trade value. Both of them will.
Let's move on to who I consider your biggest rival this year.
Yep, I do too.
Ottawa.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know we talked some crap on the draft show, but I do have respect for this team. I mean,
they are, in the GM chat, I believe they're the early favorites to win the cup this year.
Yep.
You got Carmel Snake returning as owner and goalie.
Yep, exactly. You have Carmel playing goalie.
Yep. The solid goalie. Got 5.5 mil, but still great goalie to keep with. Got White coming in at left D this year, coming from San Jose. 2 seasons there with 2 cup wins. Yep. They drafted Inglis, who is a great right D to match up with White. Got Pacioretty, Nubelushin, and Dank all returning. Dank's got some limited availability.
Yep, with his job.
Yep, so he'll be here Sundays and sometimes Mondays, he said.
Yep. Well, that's what I'm saying. And where they are with needing 4 players, they've got 8 million. So they could maybe make one splash and have to go depth. But those guys, they got to make sure whoever those depth players are going to fit with them. That's what I'm saying. This team is a little tricky, even though they've got 6 solid players. It's about getting them all to play at the right times. So how you going to build the team from here is going to be crucial.
Yep.
He's got a good base.
I think they're going to go for another big name forward and then just a couple of
really
cheap backup guys.
Well, that's the thing. Who's going to be that top forward? Because our division, Buffalo doesn't need forward. They need D. You got me who needs forward, who has more money. Florida, basically a blank slate. Montreal, blank slate. So if some of these other division rivals get into these biddings with them and bids on some of these guys that they want, they could be in some – they could lose out on a couple of players and not struggle, but not maybe be as good as they could be if some of these other divisional owners know what they're doing.
I mean, hey, you win 6 a week with your top guys and put some backups in for the other day, you're going to make playoffs still.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to also remember they're not going to be playing 6 a week because, Dank's only going to be playing 4 at most. Pacioretty maybe a little bit more, Noob a little bit more, but they got to figure out who else is going to be in that. So
yeah, and that's why they're spending on the big forward is to get those other games for Dank.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You got to remember, a lot of us in this division think alike. I know Carmel and I, unfortunately, to say, we do think a little bit alike, except I went after defense. And so did he. He's got Woy, I added Harmer. He's got Inglis. I have Chicago. We went defense. He's a good goalie. I have my good goalie. So he knows what he's doing. It's going to be tough, but I definitely am going to be, I can't wait to play him.
Also, Chi-Town, I completely agree with you on that statement.
Uh-oh. I don't even know. I can't see it, so.
Just leave it at that. Canadian teams don't win cups.
Well, that's true.
Got Philadelphia, who represented the East in the Stanley Cup last season and beat you in overtime in Game 7 in the finals, right?
Yep.
Got Ali and Donkey both returning, owner and captain.
Yep. Good players.
Drafted Mooner and Niner, 80 Rice, right D and the goalie. 1.5 and 5 mil. Solid cheap contracts. Can't go wrong there.
Yep. Bomba's returned.
Yep. You got 3 guys returning. You got Josh B., who is a great left wing, PhD in hockey at center, who's pretty solid, and Bomlack Act, right wing C for 1.125 re-signed. So
Yeah, that one I feel PhD is gonna really come into his own more because I
Mhm.
feel like last season he had more of a struggle in the regular
I believe
season
he was
and
bounced
towards
around
the
quite a bit
end.
too.
Yeah, and towards the end when he got with Philly, he really strived in the playoffs. And I know against us when we played the whole playoffs, Toronto, Tampa, and then them, I feel like he was actually one of the tougher people. Him and Ali were the two tougher people combo to cover him and Reeps, old Reeps in Toronto. Those were
Yeah.
the three toughest people we had to cover in Boston in the playoffs. And two of them are on this team. So
Yeah,
this team is going to be another team that could repeat
it'd be another
that
tough
division.
one for you in the East.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting. Every team in here is going to be fun, but this team right here, bringing back a good core of their team again, they're going to be another tough team. They're going to be probably top of their division and maybe one or two in the East.
Move on to PNC in Pittsburgh here. I believe he actually missed the playoffs for the first time last season.
Yep. And it was actually against us too. We were the
Yeah.
ones that officially knocked the Pittsburgh Penguins out.
So
He
he
got
had
to
a
tell me
rough
at the
year with
concert.
some captain having some personal issues, but he's
Yep.
back. Got a little bit of a base going. Got Svick with ELC to right wing. I actually played with Svick a few years. He's solid as long as his attitude doesn't get in the way. And leave it at that.
You notice how we say that about quite a few of
Yep.
the better players. Yeah, you'll be fine as long as attitude stays in check.
Yep.
But
Svick came up with me. We were drafted together in the PHL and moved up and all at the same time.
yeah, well, people grow, especially definitely from season 8.
Yep.
So
Got
you know,
Alcoholic Gamer on the draft at right D lefty. He was a solid D man at $500,000 contract. Got Sugar Boy coming in at center left wing, who I believe won the Memorial Cup 2 seasons ago.
all right,
And got JC Falcon center
returning.
right wing returning. He's another solid guy.
Yeah, I mean, you still gotta get. I mean, for here, you're gonna go get another backup goalie for PNC.
Yep.
I know he's not gonna want to play all 8. From here, it looks like they got a lot more forwards, so they gotta have to get some defense too in there, and that's where I feel like maybe a good top name forward, maybe a top defenseman, and that team might be a little bit better shape. But they still gotta get some depth players also,
Yep.
unless you're counting on them to
Got
be.
$4 million to spend per player. So.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely are in a good spot. They just gotta figure out what they want to do in bidding, and good luck to them.
On to the two-time Stanley Cup champions. Got San Jose Sharks. Borgia returning with Saka Playa, the former Norris winner at left D. Solid
Yep.
replacement for White. I mean, I don't think you can get any better choice than that.
Yeah, you went from a really good defenseman to a really good defenseman. Congratulations.
Simple as that. Really good
Okay.
left D to a really good left D, to be more specific.
Although I do feel Boy might be a little harder to cover than Sokka, but
It depends.
I mean,
it all depends on your style. They play
just
a little bit
basic.
different than each other.
Exactly, and that's where because with Sokka, I know I just said I don't even want the right winger involved in the defense. Your job is literally just sit there and don't let him get the puck. Because that's what they tried to force in Tampa Bay last year. Hopefully with San Jose, they won't have that problem.
And you got Spiffy at right wing from the draft, who's a solid, great forward. We can actually pull some stats up on him here in 1 second. And then we got Ethan returning, who's just a great all-around guy. He'll play wherever you need him to, and he can win faceoffs at center. .625.
Yeah, well, with Spiffy in the AHL, his numbers were a little better with 2.8 points a game in 15 games. But when he got to the NHL and was with Florida, it was a little bit of a struggle. Although Florida last season wasn't the greatest of teams, he went down a little bit. In 11 games, he had 1.7 points per game. So
yeah, Borgie knows what he's doing though, so I think he'll be able to turn
Hey.
something out through bidding here.
boy, Borges got socket, so he obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I think maybe San Jose is just the name brings a little bit of luck also.
You can probably
The
just,
team.
probably just skip this next team.
No. We get to talk about the St. Louis Blues. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
So basically, this team has 4 people on the team. All right.
Yeah, you can't count me. It's just
Exactly, that's why
3.5
I'm
million of
saying-
wasted cap.
That's why I already said they only have 4. So we got guys now here. Good defenseman, solid. I've played with them quite a bit.
Hold on, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Is it God is now here or God is nowhere? That's the real
God is now
question.
here. Well, I mean, either one I don't really particularly, me personally, care for, but I know for him, I think it's God is now here because he comes in and he thinks he's the greatest, even though he doesn't really act it because he's really down to earth, but
Oh, he
I feel like
completely
that's
thinks
what
he's
he's
the
thinking.
worst. Trust me.
But yeah,
Got to
see,
keep
no,
his
when he
confidence
plays with
up.
us, we play fine. I mean, he's a good dude. I
Yep.
mean, you bringing him back, I mean, that was a good choice.
I believe
They
he.
only give him a three
I believe
million
he led
cap,
the
so
NHL in goals scored as a D-man last season.
yeah, I don't know. I know I had Harmer quite up there too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that happens when you play a lot of games.
I got Falk returning in net, who is, I believe, one of the top goalies in the league at only 500K personally.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I've only really played with them, I think,
He was
and played against them as a
he was
forward.
completely shut down
So,
for us last year when we finally got him. I don't know what his stats were with everyone else, but I'll pull up what his stats were with me.
of course you would.
Got got traded around quite a bit, but with us, he
Yeah.
had 10 games played, an 829 save percentage, and a 2.36 GAA.
Yeah. Well, that's also you had Knights and God is now here last year on defense. I know you do have Scotty Boy returning
Yep.
at wing. He's a solid player, and Ellendale now at 500K instead of 7.5 million. That's a really good bargain with
And
him.
Allendale really stepped up for us come playoffs at lefty last season. He helped with that last week push and put San Jose in overtime 3 times with him at lefty.
You know, he's a solid. He can play pretty much anywhere you need him, and he's a good dude.
Yep.
But you know, having 4 people on the roster, having 21 million left to go, you got to get about. I mean, technically, you got to get 5 people. So I mean, you can't make a move. I noticed you did not re-sign. How come you didn't re-sign your top All-Star?
I didn't want to resign. Simple as that.
No, he didn't, or you didn't.
He didn't.
Oh, take his chances in free agency.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know your All-Star's gone. I'm like, not too many people had All-Stars in, especially guys that came out of the draft, even though you didn't draft them.
I tried.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I know. Freaking, hey, Bean, what do you think of these guys? Freaking bullshit. Never again.
So,
By the way, no one ever asked me for scouting reports again.
Next, we'll move on to Tampa Bay here.
This.
Got Pickle and Benson, owner and captain here. Right D and lefty. Got Rhino on an ELC at lefty, Fontenette or ELC at right D. Boston Hydro at goalie, and Scred at left wing. Boston's been around for a long time. 1.406 million.
That's their best player.
Yeah. I don't really know any of the other guys, so.
Benson, I'm sorry, but I feel like this team could be the Montreal Canadiens of last year. I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen. This team I feel like this is going to be one of those first to last teams. Obviously, it's not the same management. The whole team's pretty much different. But I just have a feeling in this division where you've got Buffalo, you've got Boston, you've got Ottawa, you know, you've got Toronto, who we're about to talk about next. This is going to be a tough division, and those teams could really put them down. And
Yeah.
I just see this is going to be a tough season for them. Hopefully in bidding, they can pick up some players that, you know, maybe not scare people, but, you know, make them think a little bit about people. Because right now I look at this and I just think of Hydro. And then I feel so bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, but this is potentially Montreal Canadiens of season 11.
Oof.
Or New York Islanders of season 10. Yes, I'll
Pretty
go
bold
there.
statement there.
Yeah, well.
So next we'll move on to Toronto.
Yep. This is a good team.
Keep
This
it over
has
the
a
Atlantic
starting
Division.
Yep. I got to play these guys in the first round last season. Reeps is destructive. This guy can single-handedly break down the defense. I know Rich or Vega, I think, had something, they missed a game or two in the series. But yeah, Reeps pretty much was the only one in the last couple of games that did anything offensively because of the defense in the center. And he was just able to work it and make it tough for us. He actually won a game for them with his scoring. He had like 4 goals, and that was all they could do. but he's returning on a 2-year contract.
Good call out, Chai.
He's going to be tough. I know Rich and Vega are really good as long as they play. So that's going to be another tough. That's going to be a really tough forward line. And with Zim and Rizzler also, this is going to be a tough team. I can't wait to see what they do with only 13 million and 5 needed people. I mean, I don't really think they need help offensively with that line. They'll need more defensive help. So, but they could be a player too.
No, I think Vega is probably, in my opinion, a top 5 center in the league.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying personally off of playing them last year, Reeps was the more disruptive. But Vega and Rich and that line is dangerous. Don't get me wrong. That is dangerous.
Chi-Town strongly disagrees with that, but
hey. Okay, well, you didn't watch the games and you weren't in them, so it is what it is. He basically won them the game. It is, and
is a solid utility guy to have around. You got Rizzler at lefty righty on their ELC. I think they'll be a team to reckon with in that Atlantic Division still.
Exactly. Goalie and defense is pretty much what I see them going after with that forward line.
Let's move on to Vancouver now, who's one of the top teams in the West last season.
My actual pick to.
Yes, Jason, Rich is bad. That's why we didn't say anything about him. They got a full roster of 9 already. Just need one more in 10 million. You got Snake Plissken, Tarasenko, Prodigy to Legend, Jay Mars all at forward. You got Vladdy and Matt Belieski at net. Strength Legacy at center goalie, ELC at 3.25. And got Execution 80, who's just a solid utility. Second year in a row he's been re-signed up to 1.313 now.
Yeah, I've noticed him. I have him on my friends list. I haven't played with him in a while, but I know he was good. Yeah. Prodigy is another friend of my goalie on my VG team, so I know a little bit about him. Spezza, I think he used to be called.
Yeah, I was actually the one that got Execution and bidding 2 seasons ago at $500K.
See, there you go.
Solid guy.
Yep. Yeah. No, this team right here early. I feel will come out of the West.
Yeah.
I just think with the Snake at the top running things, he knows what he's doing, and I feel did I play to win the game go idle or something?
I have no idea.
Because I know his salary was like 9 million, and he is no longer here.
Yep.
So, and I haven't seen him anywhere else, and there's only 2 teams left. So I'm pretty sure he's not on the Caps or the Winnipeg Jets. So something must have happened there, because I know before he only had very limited cap space before the draft, and now he's got 11 million for only 1 player needed. So I don't know if
it'll
losing.
Be interesting to say they got a big variety here. Be interesting to see where they stick that 10 million they have to spend.
All right. Well, they definitely have some options. But
I think they'll return as a top team in the West again. So
my early on pick for them. Yeah, now this is and Claudius and Jude taking their talents to Washington and leaving Carolina.
Yep.
Taking over. I mean, they picked up one of the best goalies, I feel, in the draft with Jade Dragoon in terms of stat-wise.
At $500K, too.
Which, when I was drafting, I totally forgot about, because he was one of the few people that I was like, oh, yeah, I'll take him. But I'm like, at 17, he won't be there. And then my pick comes over, and it's like, and then I see him go up. I'm like, son of a... Oh, well. But, yeah, no, that at $500K, that is huge. That is one of the best steals in the draft, I feel.
They got lost codes in the draft also at $500K. Listed as right D. I don't know who he is, so we'll check out his stats here.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I know they're bringing back Vito Corleone, a friend of management from last season, on a second year at 2.5. And Sir Scoopy also, I believe, got re-signed.
Yeah, it looked like he had 41 games played or 30 games played in the AHL last season. The plus 18, about 1 point per game.
Well, he's a defenseman, so I mean, his plus minus everywhere he went seemed to be fine. So it seems like wherever he goes, the guys don't give up a lot of goals, and his teams will thrive. So
they got just over $4 million left to spend per player to finish out the roster here. So we'll see what they do, and they'll probably spend big money on a couple forwards, I think.
Yeah, at least one, because you figure in Claudia, Strike, and Jew forward line. But then, with 3 defensemen, they're probably going to look for another maybe lefty to go along with Vito and another high-priced forward.
And then I'll go back to Winnipeg, who was a bit of a surprise team last year.
Yeah, they started off a little slow, and then they ended up finishing the season really, really strong. Actually, I know Orioles and I, being in first seasons last year, we talked quite a bit through our good runs as we were both going through
I
them.
mean, this is definitely a very interesting
And
roster.
with the roster they have and the cap space they have left, this team could be really scary compared seeing what they could get
Well,
in free agency.
It depends what they're going to, how good all these really cheap players they have are too.
Well, most of them, I know Marauding Moose was a top player last year that they had. West Side Hockey, I believe, was on the team towards the end. And I believe Liquid Lunch was on the team at the end of the season as well. The only thing what they did was it'll be the Tickle drop-off and the Woody implementation now. So how is Woody going to be able to do again compared to what Tickle did last season?
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting seeing if some of these cheaper players can prove themselves to be consistent in the league. And
just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're not good.
But
you know,
yeah, I agree. But it also means that they're not well known and haven't proven themselves yet.
Well known. I mean, how many people didn't return his ownerships?
To me, they still need to prove themselves.
Yeah, well, see, a couple of these guys were on the team last year, and with Oriole being there, I know he's good offensively. It's just going to be the Tickle drop off most for me, and the Woody being the captain now. Which, if he going to be able to bring the production that Tickle had for that team offensively?
I've played a few games with Tickle. I don't think he's the greatest out there.
Well, I didn't say he was the greatest, but for that team that they had, he was doing well.
I think that's it. I think Chai wanted to get down in here, so we can see if he wants to get added to the call quick.
Yeah, it's already been an hour. Let's have some fun. If anybody really listened to this for the full hour, I will be surprised.
Lots of people did. Chai Town, Jason, God's still in here. G-Men, Rarmer.
Rarmer. That's funny. It's Harmer.
Harmer, whatever.
R is his first name. Do you know how long I called him that last season? I was saying Rarmer for like 2 weeks, and Eddie was just laughing at me because I kept saying it.
Chai says he'll get in the next one. He's a little busy right now.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock on a Saturday. How many are we deep there, Shy? 5?
Nah, he's got the kid now to take care of.
Oh, all right. No, that's right. Congrats, by the way, on that too, Shy. I know that came in as quite as a shock, I believe. Like, that was the biggest shock in the world. Like, look what we got.
So, I think we'll stop the stream there and catch you guys next Saturday. We'll announce the time as soon as we know it, and see you guys then with a bidding recap.
Sir. Boston Strong.